So team, welcome to the latest QTP live trainings. This is the batch of June 19th, 2013. Thank you all for being here and welcome to the fresh set of presentations that I'm going to be doing on HP QuickTest Professional. So before we get started, quick few housekeeping calls to make sure that you're all doing fine. At the moment, I have my presentation open and my audio is on, so you should be able to hear me. Most of you should be viewing the videos and you should ideally play it in full screen to get the best quality out of it. Now, what we're going to be doing today is quickly mentioned here in the agenda. I am, unlike other live training programs where I right away started with QTP, the training concepts itself, I'm going to go a little more different in this entire new series of the live tutorials that I'm doing with QTP. I'm going to talk about what I'm going to cover in these live sessions, what is already present for you to be able to access anytime as videos, as members of ITeLearn. I will also do a very quick theoretical level introduction of the HP Unified Testing 11.5, the tool that has been combined by putting a few things together, more on a theoretical level, but then we will get into more practical essence of some of these aspects as we go along. And finally, I will do a few questions and answers on the program itself. Okay, time permitting, we will also get into some of the topics, the core technology. Before I move forward, the day 2, which is the next session, and the sessions continuing that, there could be a slight change in the timings. But I'm going to be working with you interactively to make sure that we have the best suitable times for everyone. And the reason is primarily because I have something that's come up on couple of days on the week between 5:30 and 6:30 my time. So I need to try and adjust things accordingly. That we will work offline with the team and make sure that we identify a good schedule starting next week where we continue with our program. Okay, but let's continue with these two sessions to begin with to get you a good idea. So primarily the HP QTP tutorials at ITeLearn quick history, I have always focused on the practical aspects of QuickTest Professional as a tool, how it is important to focus on programming and how it is important to focus more in terms of automation frameworks, descriptive programming, and so on. So it has been very little of theory. It has always been on the tool, and that's one of the primary reasons. There are thousands of members who've been joining my program. I'm privileged, I'm honored to be able to serve a very, very large global audience as my trainees, and it's really a great experience having such a large set of people joining this program. Most of them videos, some of them as live programs also. Okay, then there is a huge collection of content. We will look into some of the videos that are already there, some of the upcoming videos, and with each new batch, I intend to provide the updates on the latest versions, what's happening in industry, and some more key updates that will add to the existing video library. There is a strong technical support which is existing through the forum. So not only are you having an opportunity to get your questions addressed, but if you notice, you will also see many areas of occupational or project-based questions that are being asked by other members and how you could learn from the experience of everyone else. So we'll take a peek look into the forum as well as we go along, so you know how you're going to be interacting going forward. So typically these live webinars, I don't do it very often. It is twice, thrice a year at the maximum that I do. Earlier I used to do almost once every 1-2 months, but now I've kind of reduced the frequency. So if you'd miss this live webinar, do not worry. Videos will always cover whatever is there. More importantly, what is very critical for you to know is that the live is the same thing that you will see in the videos. There's nothing more. Interaction wise also, you will see the more questions come when you do it practice rather than live. So I just want to let you know that this is a batch that if you are planning to specifically make sure that you're part of a live program, that this is the batch for you, okay? Especially people who watch in the videos. I know a lot of people will miss out on the live webinars because of the work schedule, because of some preoccupation on other areas and so on. But they know that the videos will get recorded. They will have access to the videos and they can go back. But just in case they want to be sticking to a live schedule, then this is the point. Videos, again, like I was saying, you can access it anytime. It is the same content that has been delivered through live lectures and been presented together in a strong manner. You have more flexibility of how, where, and what you learn. Okay. Now, coming to what we will do in the next few weeks through this live webinar is about, I will do about 15 to 20, not 20, I would say more like 15, 16 live webinars and focus in the following areas. All right. You will see that the areas that I present is not different from what I've done earlier, but at the same time, you will also notice that I'm focusing specifically in a direction. Okay. And then you will see that anything that is missing out from this is already present as a strong collection in the repository of videos. Okay. So what I would be starting off with is a strong introduction to automation. That I believe is a very, very important stepping stone for everyone. Okay. When I say intro to automation, I'm talking about the different industry standards, expectations, process, the methodologies, different frameworks, and how you are supposed to be thinking as an automation engineer. But instead of giving you a theory at a high level what it is, I will help to build that from a scratch. Okay. We will talk about why automation, how do we go from a manual testing to automation and all that. That is where we will going to be starting with. Okay. Then we will get into our first project. I don't believe that more than 1 or 2 sessions is required strongly as an intro to automation. I think more of 1 session. Then we will get into a core VB script programming. Okay. And that will be our project 1. Everything that we will do, we will take as a project, and then we will talk about how we go about executing it end to end. And the focus for the first project that we will do will be VB scripting alone. Okay. The second one will be data-driven framework. Now, just to let you know, team, as I do this, the major portions of HP QTP as a tool, the user interface, the UI portions, and all that will also get covered. We don't need to separately focus on it. In fact, as intro to automation, I should also say that intro to automation and QTP UI. This is what I should say here, QTP UI. Okay. Then we're going to get into our first project, core VB scripting. We will get into the second project, which will be to identify a project, identify the steps involved right from the ground level in building a data-driven framework. What kind of an application will qualify for such a framework? What is the advantage of that framework? Where does the framework lack, or what will be the cons for it? How do you go about implementing it end to end? You should be mastering the activity of data-driven framework and the concept of frameworks by the end of the second project that we will execute. All right. That is very critical. That will be your real stepping stone, because I know many of you come from a background where QTP is not a new word for you. If you are in the software testing industry, there would be hardly any percentage of population who have not heard of the word QTP or Quick Test Professional, because it's become so popular with software testing. Forget about automation or manual. So you know some of the basic areas of it. But what really differentiates you from the people who just know QTP and from the people who really are masters at it is how strongly you go into VB scripting, how you go about applying the concepts into a data-driven framework. More importantly, how do you get into the other areas like, why is this not navigating? Okay, there you go. Now it's come. Okay. into descriptive programming. Okay, descriptive programming is a key area, very, very critical. I think I'll require to spend at least 2 sessions in this alone to be able to drive you very strongly on what descriptive programming will be all about. This is an important element, one of the most important elements of automation testing. This is about identifying how QTP recognizes the application, the objects in the application and so on, and how can you put that into implementation. So we will spend about 2 sessions on it, and then we will go into a keyword driven framework. This framework by far has been the kind of the core aspect of everything that I have done as part of QTP Learn and ITeLearn. How we develop, design and build these frameworks, basically not in the same order. You design, develop or develop/build and maintain these frameworks is very, very essential. I see that lot of participants don't fully master this to begin with as a keyword driven framework, but just the thought of the knowledge that they acquire by watching the videos and what is the potential of it is enough for them to be landed in a good job. And then as they go about and get to a stage where they really need to implement a framework, a project, they come back, review the videos, and then start doing the project execution parallelly while watching the videos. And I don't expect each of you to be mastering anything right away. What I rather would like to see is you getting a strong foundation laid, and as you practice, as you implement it, you are going to be going ahead into mastering it. All right. Now, at this point, team, before I move forward into the next slides, I just want to complete this and take any questions, any issues with overall presentation. There is an entire session that I want to make sure that I put towards taking up your questions, because that will set your expectations. Then we can work together as a team to make sure that we are working together in the right direction for knowledge acquisition. All right. So we will start with intro. What I can do is quickly put how many classes I wish to spend on that. I would say 2 sessions, okay? 2 classes or 2 sessions, 2 hours. Let's talk about hours. It'll be easy, because what will happen is with our new schedule, I might also do sessions which could be 1.5 hours at a time, and so that would be 1.5 session. Okay. Core VB scripting, I would say more like this would be about 4 hours. Okay, between 3 and 4 hours. So you can put a little bit of delta between each of them. Data-driven framework, how do you build it from scratch? I would say about 3 hours. Okay. Descriptive programming by itself would be about 2 hours. And keyword-driven framework would be about 4 hours. And then when I say closing session, the intent is, hey, how do we, about 1 hour, take all this we learn, how do you take the best advantage and make sure that you are taking it into the next level in your career. Okay, that's the whole thing. Everything that we will do, including this session, will be recorded and will be stored for you to access. As part of your membership, you get a 1-year access to all the tutorials. You can then go ahead and continue to practice with it. Please note that a yearly renewal fee is not going to be the same amount. It will be $75. Okay. So if you need to extend it for your 2nd year or 3rd year, you just need to pay $75, which is more of the hosting and video streaming charges and so on. Okay. Now, what are the other topics that are covered on the application? Let's look at the website itself. That will give you a live idea on what is happening. Just to let you know, everything has been moved to the website. You will log in as a member on itelearn.com. You will start to see all the features, the modules that you've subscribed for, the access to it and so on, all present in the same application. Okay. So here's the website. In fact, if you go into video tutorials, if you look at QTP videos, here is where you would see the list of all the videos that will be there available as an access to you. Okay. And you can start to watch a lot of them as free videos, many of them as part of your membership as well. So just wanted to quickly run you down some of the chapters that are here. You have a strong collection already existing on QTP and VB script. Just to let you know, team, when I say VB script is covered here, I basically give you the strong introduction to it. But every chapter is all about VB scripting because that is the core programming and that is what is most essential. Okay. Now, you will see all the areas that have been addressed. There are a certain amount of differences between each versions. Most of the videos have been covered in version 10. The previous batch, for example, the November 3rd or N27, one of these is covered in QTP 11 also. Now we're going to use QTP 11.5 or UFT 11.5. Okay. As you go about watching the many hours of tutorials in each of the areas, for example, QTP data-driven framework and so on, you will get access to the files for every batch or all the individual chapters. You have the fast track batch also. You'll have access to all of those. Plus, you're going to get access to these videos. Okay. So, what you'll need to do is start accessing, start playing each of the videos and go forward from there. Now, as you get into areas where you need to do more, you could go into your members area, you could refer to the technical support for the forum, and you should be able to see all the different questions that have already been answered, or raise a new question that you require an answer to. Okay. This is a live forum. We have technical support team members that represent ITeLearn and are helping all the members ensure their questions are answered. At the moment, we just have it in 3 main areas: manual software, manual QA, QTP and Selenium. On the other areas, we'll keep adding new forum groups into it. Okay. But QTP, one of the widely popular one in here, you can see the number of posts in here and the number of views for it is significantly high. Okay. So the tech help is the membership where most of the support is coming from. That is the ITeLearn tech help team, and they will provide, that team is going to constantly monitor this and provide you good solutions. Okay. So please interact. There are thousands of members in this area. There are many people who are constantly viewing it. So you should get yourself out there and start watching, okay, what's happening. So just to give you an idea of what you are getting into as you subscribe to the program. Now, coming to the UFT 11.5. Okay, so before that, quick thing. The technical support is not 24/7. It is basically an online forum. The good opportunity is, number one, if I were you, I would not just go and blindly post a question there. Okay, I would start off with seeing if there is an answer to my question. You have the ability to go into the discussion forum and just do a search for whatever you want. Okay, for example, you have a question on license or installation. Okay, you search for that and see the posts which already have been covered in that area. Okay, and see if there's an answer to it. All right. If there's an answer to it, good. You can continue to go in that direction. If there's no answer to it, then you post your question. All right. Once you post your question, typically between 24 to 48 hours is definitely the response time from the technical help desk. However, there are other members who are constantly monitoring and they may give solutions sooner. Okay. Now coming to unified functional testing. So before I get there, I definitely want to let you know this, that there is not a, how do I say this? There's not a dramatical difference in versions of QTP 11.5 or rather UFT 11.5 to what was there earlier. Yes, there is difference and I'm going to talk about what it is, but you will see that our focus being QuickTest Professional and what we do there. So you will see not much has changed, but as we go into the new UI and how we work with it, you will see all that being effective. Okay. So primarily, we will see that the IDE or the UI of the entire tool itself went through a change because of the fact that they have combined the GUI application testing, which is the functional testing where you're looking at the application from a user interface perspective. In the sense, you're seeing the look and feel of the application, being able to see where the object is clicking on it, clicking on a link or a button and then moving along and so on. And then you will also see that the web services or the API testing, which is basically about integrating with other services using XML data feeds, service requests, and so on, all that is also been included in it. Okay. Our focus, yes, will continue to be around GUI or the QTP. We will not really focus on the web services as part of QTP tutorials that we're doing. However, we're going to use this in the version 11.5. Then why should we use 11.5? Why should we not use version 10? Number one, almost 90% of my videos are on version 10. The remaining 10% of the videos are probably on version 11. Okay. So you already will learn version 10. Now you can put a 11.5 also on your resume, or you can go comfortably into the organization and say, hey, you know what, I have also been exposed. I've been working on 11.5 also, the new UI for QTP. It is not something that will make you a winner by itself, but just the fact that you're upgrading your skill talks a lot about what you're doing. All right. Then, as I told, there are, yes, changes and improvements to the UI. However, as you go along, that is when you realize that was this good, or sometimes we'll go back and say, hey, you know what, iPhone 3GS was so good. Why did they even come with iPhone 4 or an iPhone 4S? By the time we were talking about an iPhone 4, we're already into the 5 series now, and now we're talking about more. So there are constant changes. We always would like to compare it, but once we get used to the system, we'll see that there has been a thought put behind it. There is a certain reason why some of these changes have happened. Now, do note, team, that unlike other lectures, so far I have not even opened QTP. I have not even started with the actual sessions because, number one, I want to make sure that we together as a team ensure that we use the 30 days trial version properly and do not misuse or do not lose time in that use. Okay, so I want you to make sure that you do the installation according to how we go about with the sessions. All right, so there is, yes, tighter integration with both business process testing and ALM, which is your quality center. So basically, QTP has been working integrated with quality center and business process testing, other two components, quality center being an extremely popular one. So you will see that that level of integration has improved significantly. Also do note that we have recently created a video on QTP and QC integration. We will be putting it into the video collection within a day or two. So that QTP plus QC will already be there. So you can then see and experiment how is it that QTP and QC are going to be working together with this new environment. All right. So that is what is expected out of it. All right, so now let's look at what next. Is there? Okay, let's look at the points here. New add-ins for Flex and Qt. So you'll see if you do testing for Flash apps and so on, there are new add-ins for Flex and Qt both. The object identification itself, how the objects are identified, there has been certain improvement to it where they're talking about bringing in based on the object image itself. How do you go about identifying it? It is almost like very similar to an earlier concept called virtual objects and so on, made it a little bit more easy to handle. Is it really deployable or not? That's a different thing, but it's a great feature that has been added. There have been more areas, especially with debugging, how you could go about debug your scripts and all that has been improved. Again, as I told you earlier, it is a theoretical level that I've given you a rundown of some of the things that is different from the earlier versions. But when we get into the tool, you will see the real essence of what we're talking. There has also been some development and creation of mobile testing as part of this. Do note that we have a separate course altogether on mobile application testing because it requires a dedicated focus on itself. So that portion of it will be covered in there. As part of the web services testing, you will see that API, how you do web service testing is covered in a completely different chapter. Okay. Now, what do you do next? What you need to do definitely, team, is download HP Unified Testing directly from hp.com. Okay. So the link is a public link. In fact, the easiest way to do is just go to hp.com and start searching for where is the Unified Functional Testing. So use the search and start using it from there. Okay. Unified Functional Test. Do you see this? So here, if you look at the products and services, you may see many, actually unified, just one word is Unified Functional Test. Why is it not picking it up? See, this is, okay, now it's picking it up. All right, so for Unified Functional Testing, there are products and services, and you will see various products and services that are outlined under this category. Okay, so you could go to the functional testing official site, and in here you should be able to see a link to download the trial. All right, trials and demos. Click on it, and you'll see HP Unified Functional Testing 11.5. All right. If you're looking for QualityCenter, which is part of the ALM series, or QualityCenter itself is out here. You can also download QTP, an essential version, which is not linked with web services as well. I'll show you some links for that. But primarily, you can search, make sure that you get to HP Unified Functional Testing 11.5, and then they've made it very easy for you to be able to register. Just enter your information, continue with it, accept the terms of service, and start a download. The download is very simple. It is hardly, I mean not hardly, it's about 1.7 GB. So it will take a little time depending on your location and your speed and so on. But once it is downloaded, it is very straightforward in terms of how you go about installing it on your machine. Okay, so it's going to be zip file. All you need to do is unzip it and then run the setup version on it. Once you run the setup, it will start to install automatically. There is nothing major in terms of installation, but if you face any issues with it, you could always use our tech support to post your questions in there. All right. So it is all you need to do is download the 1.7 GB file, unzip it, and start the setup process through it. Okay. Once you have it installed on your machine, do not install it right away, team. Please wait for sometime next week to install it. Okay. After we are done with the initial sessions on the topics that I was talking about here, after this, before we get started with project 1, this is where you should do the, sorry, I don't think we will. All right, sorry. So intro to automation and QTP UI. After this is when you should try and install it. Okay, that will give you a good 30 days. Ideally, if you can wait, you can continue to finish the live webinars, watch the sessions and do it, but don't wait so long. Try and keep up with the practice, because there'll be a lot to do as we go along. All right. So primarily, I want you to make sure that you download the correct version and start working with. So at this point in time, are there any questions that I could take, please? What is the schedule of classes? How many classes a week? So typically we are looking at, let's work backwards. Okay. We are looking at 2, 4, 6, 6, 10, 15, about 16 hours, right? 16 hours, we're talking about either I do 1 hour a day for 5 days a week or 4 days a week. Typically, I don't do more than 4 sessions a week, because sometimes it'll be an overload. There's a lot to digest. As the first 2-3 sessions will be very slow and easy. Then we'll really pick up speed. We'll get into complex areas and so on. So I want you to be able to get settled in well. So I would say that we could do 3 days a week of 90 minutes, 1.5 hours each on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Or we could do 1 hour a day, 6 days, 4 days a week, and so on. So this way we will take between 4 to 5 weeks. So overall, if I look at, we're talking about, in fact, this I've already spoken about. So here I'm going to put live class schedules. Okay. So let me quickly put up this so it is easy for each of you to be able to see it. So option 1 is Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday from 5 to 6:30 p.m. PST. So that way you have gaps in between to be able to make sure that you're able to cover yourself. Okay, that is option 1. Option 2 is this is PST team. So you will need to make sure that you look at what is the converted time in your own time zone. Okay, so if in Eastern we're talking about 8 to 9:30 Eastern. Okay. Option 2 is Monday to Friday. We will do not all 5 days. 1 day a week we may take a break, but instead of 5 to 6 we may do something like 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. PST. Okay, but then it will become 9:30 to 10:30 for Eastern. All right. So please, if you're in UK, Australia, India, and so on, do calculate your own, because I'm not sure there's a large audience. I don't know what it is. Okay, we are looking at between 15 to 16 live sessions overall. All right. So about 4 to 5 hours per week. We're looking at about 3 to 4 weeks in total. So and before last week of July. That is the schedule at the moment. Okay, so this is what I wanted to make sure that you all are aware of. So this is going to be the schedule team, and between option 1 and option 2 is what it is. Sorry, Rachel, I know you're from Melbourne, so not sure how we're going to fit that in, but I'm not sure. What is your time right now? 10:45 morning, right? So if you're working, it is either way, it's tough. Yeah, Ajay, no, it's 8:42 Eastern. Gurpreet, you're in New Zealand. Wow, okay. So 12:41. So there's a 2 hours gap, is it, between Australia and New Zealand? Okay. So if you're able to make it, so either option 1 or option 2 should be okay, right? So I know a lot of people have been talking about option 1 itself, because that way they have break days. What about India? So India team, as long as the time is not changing, it is 5:30 to 7 a.m. for the first option and 7 to 8 a.m. for the second option. Yeah, so very similar to this, we may have a 90-minute session. The only issue with 90 minutes is, number one, that it's an overstretch for me as well. I use a very high pitch. I talk a lot. So that's the reason sometimes it gets me really tired, but I can always take a breather here and there and continue with it. Okay, so team, let me give it a thought, and we'll come back based on the best option. Again, at the same time, I apologize because just because of the number of participants, which I'm very glad that there's so much interest worldwide, I am not able to have one session which is suitable for everyone. For example, UK, Europe is always almost the one which is unable to do it. Yes, so what I'm doing is I'm looking into a chat which is only private to me. You do not have the visibility to the other attendees. For example, now I've made you are able to see all the other attendees. There are about 80 right now in the session. As we go along, the numbers will keep increasing. So I kept the chat only with me so that there's no confusion. Otherwise, there's too much of distraction on what's happening. So I'm taking up the questions from the chat and doing it. Any interaction that you need to do as we go along is always through the chat. Rarely, only if needed, I unmute you so that you're able to talk. Can you talk about pricing? So pricing is not something that is really important for me to discuss. It is there on the website. You could also contact the ITeLearn team if you need more details. But the pricing information is always on the website, so you can always refer to that. Sandeep, you're in the UK. Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, there's nothing much I could do for UK Europe because I know it's probably closer to midnight or a little past at the moment for you, right? All right, team. So that's it from my side for this session. I really wanted to start with something more constructive in terms of automation and so on, but I wanted to keep this session more as an introduction so you get prepared, you know which direction we're going and so on. What I will definitely recommend for you to do is to please go to my video tutorials or sign up for my free videos. Okay, you will see a link for many more free videos here or the pop-up that will come up on the website and start watching it. The next session will be tomorrow, team. What time? Give me a little bit of time. I'm going to discuss with my team, take inputs from some of the participants and then let you know. Okay. I will definitely communicate back what it is. You'll automatically get an email as part of your go-to training. Your login ID for the website where the videos will be hosted will be provided through the payment e-commerce system within 24 hours after your payment. The login access for the go-to training sessions will be provided to all the paid participants after the day 3 starts. So till day 3 you can use this. Salim, payment options, whole payment at once. I don't have any myself, but so I use PayPal as my merchant provider. And what PayPal does is it gives you the ability to be able to break your payments down into monthly. You can do it directly with PayPal and they make sure that that happens. All right. Team, sorry, I know I have not been taking calls because I get a flood of calls. So my team is handling calls. So at the moment, this is the best forum. If you need to really talk to me, you can put your questions in here. Otherwise, I'm really not getting into one-on-one discussions at the moment. All right. So just to let you know, as you go below, you will see that there is this PayPal, get 6 months to pay on purchases of over $100. This is where you will have the ability to do it. Now, do note, team, for all the payments, you do not need a PayPal account. Okay. As you go through the checkout process, you will see that you will use PayPal to make the purchase, but you can always say you don't have PayPal account and use your credit card to make it. All right, this is next. Do I need to have programming background in order to learn QTP automation? So, okay. Number one, prerequisites is nothing more than some of the free videos that you will see on the website. Okay. Please go to QTP eLearn and the QTP videos on ITeLearn.com and start watching some of the free videos that are available. Okay. Or sign up for the free preview and watch those free videos. That is the only prerequisite. In this specific tutorial, I will be building almost everything from ground up, assuming that you are absolutely beginner. Okay, we will go through the core VB script, assuming that you have no programming background. Team, there is no personal email address for me at the moment. Please use learn@itlearn.com only for all communication. How would I approach you if I had a problem with payment? So you can approach. We have a team that is working. They will take care of it. There is further an issue, then I will get in with any of the support or so on. But otherwise, the team is taking care of most of it. Let's see, Vasily, what that payment can I see other videos? With that payment, can I see other videos? No. So every course has its own payment, but if you go back to the web page, you'll see that as you add more courses, you have a discount that gets calculated. So anything over 500, there's a 15%, over 1,000, there's a 20%, and so on. So there is bulk buying options also. Did I miss any other questions? Let me quickly look into it, please. So trial version, what happens after the trial and all that? I don't have solutions directly, but if you look at the forum, there's many recommendations. You can consult with other members and see what works best for you. Garima, don't worry if you're extremely new to VB scripting because we will start from the very basics and grow from there. Yes, so live sessions or videos, a combination of it will make you definitely an expert. Just focus, stick with me for about a month, month and a half, you will master QTP. Definitely, yes. Is this going to be online too? Yes. So every video that I do will be recorded and will be hosted. So you can go back and start watching. Kurshid, this is not web services testing training. This is QTP, application UI, GUI based automation testing. So we are not looking at web services as part of this training. All right, everyone. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. I know the questions that keep coming up, but most of the questions are answered. If there's anything else, please do send an email and we will get back to you. Any real-time scenarios, everything that we will do as part of what you will see is going to be based on real-time scenarios only. All right. Thank you, everyone. Elizabeth, I'm fresher to this field. Okay, let me take a couple of more questions, Tim, because people genuinely have questions. Let me see if I can do something. Should I start from learning manual testing or will I be able to understand this? So, great question. If you're a beginner, okay, let's say that you're a beginner, what do you do? Do you start with manual testing or do you go here? So it's basically this. It's like this, you know, to learn a motorbike, okay, you can learn a motorbike by itself, okay, you need to commute, but it doesn't mean that you first learn cycle and then learn motorbike. All right, there are some concepts which are different, but it doesn't mean that you start with a cycle. You can always start directly with a motorbike. So you don't need to do a software testing by itself. You can, before you do QTP, you don't need to do software testing course before you do QTP. However, it is good. It is easier on you as a transition. Okay, but what you will be doing is with QTP by itself has a lot of value. So you will be acquiring a great skill in a shorter period that has more value than acquiring a little bit more skill in a longer period, including software testing. So if I were you, I would give it a try completely for QTP for about a month, month and a half. If you think that you're a little bit more slow learner, then you should try and use more of start with the manual testing. I'm not writing on notepad. I am using a pen as a background on a notepad. I'm not sure if you're able to see it, team. Technical questions, let's not get into it right away, Sirisha. We'll come to it as we get along, okay? But again, if you're a member already, you can use the forum to start posting your questions. How can we contact PayPal to discuss payment plans? So Salim, again, you don't need to contact PayPal. There is a standard process. They will go through the same structure. Most of it will be clearly documented. If you're stuck, there will be contact numbers for you to be able to call them, but you wouldn't need it. It's a very self-explanatory. If there's an issue, send an email to Learn Team also. They will try and help you. Victor, please, yes, contact. For repeat students, what is the fee and all that, you can contact the ITeLearn team. They'll be able to assist you with it. All right. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate you all joining the session. So the next session, when we're going to start, I will communicate to you soon. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye then. Thank you all.